All right, media haters, media skeptics, what do we call them? Hesitant media participants. Welcome. Harmless Dave here, talking about the fake media in real time for real people just like you and just like me. Behind me is Justin Trudeau, or as we like to refer to him here in the United States as Justin Brando. Yeah, that's who he is and who he'll always be. Why is it that men of very small stature end up being, are they overcompensating for some inadequacies in their life? I mean, is it just the Napoleon thing? Is it, what Marco Rubio and Donald Trump were talking about with the hands thing? Remember? Donald Trump has small hands. So that means what? I don't know, little Marco. Tell us, little Marco. All of these people have the same thing in common. It's as if they're trying to be powerful when they're weak-minded. Never mind weak in stature. I really don't care about Trudeau in the sense that he's a little man, right? Just like Fauci is a little man. But it seems that there is a common thread that runs through the little man complex. And I've seen it in my own life and I've confronted it. And I'm just kind of shocked that those of small stature seem to want to be bullies in their neighborhood. They tend to not let things go. The truckers show up, the truckers make a point, and now we've got the Emergency Powers Act or whatever it's called up in Canada, which is almost like declaring that they're at war with a foreign power. And I said this in a video right after Joe Biden became the president. I said, yeah, the endless war, for instance, with Afghanistan might kind of be over, at least for now. But the new war is going to be on citizens of the United States. And of course, it's migrated north of the border, where Canadian citizens are now under attack from their own government. Now, the media will spin and spin the truckers are terrorists. They're domestic terrorists, just like the people who went to the Capitol on January the 6th, not this year, but obviously last year. Those people were evil, and we need to put them down like a dog. We need to just put them down. By the way, I wouldn't do this to a dog, what they're doing to the citizens of both Canada and the United States. And now they're debanking the truckers. They're debanking. I mean, this has reached a level. Okay, so I don't agree with you politically. So what I'm going to do is take your money away. You're disrupting our beautiful globalist paradise here, where people seem to want to wear oxygen inhibitors for the rest of their lives. They've endorsed it. They embrace it. They love it. It's very chic. It's very fashionable, especially when you take it off and you see all that little rash that accumulates right around there. Not to mention, the sores that are going to appear on the inside of your mouth and all of that bacteria that's accumulated there. That's got to be really healthy. Bacteria is healthy, people. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And breathing in your own CO2, well, you're trying to, this is your part in saving the planet. This is a way that you can reduce the CO2 by re-inhaling it and have your body, instead of your cells being oxygenated, have your cells just grasp onto that CO2. Here we are in the year 2022, and tyrants look like Justin Trudeau, who looked like he walked out of a really crappy edition of GQ, right? And you're thinking to yourself, how? These aren't real men. These aren't men who take charge. These aren't men who are comfortable with their masculinity. I mean, they're calling everybody phobic this, phobic that, when everybody kind of wants to just mind their own business. You do your thing. If you're on this team or if you are of this category, I don't really care. Can you just leave me alone? Right? So the truckers, what they want is bodily autonomy, a thing that used to be really popular back in the 1980s and 1990s. We were told constantly that a woman has a right to choose, right? A woman has a right to choose what she wants to do with her own body. And doggone it, you people, if you don't like it, don't do it. I think it was some stupid bumper sticker I read years ago. It said something like, don't like abortion? Don't have one. Okay. Don't like what's on TV? Change the channel. Don't want to do this mandated Walgreens, a QR code thing? Then guess what? You still have to do it anyway. You want to eat at that restaurant? And they'll say to you, oh, you still have the choice not to eat at this restaurant. Well, what if that was my job? What if I worked at that restaurant? And they keep pushing. Like I watched on the Ambassador Bridge when the police kept moving and moving and moving and encroaching. That was a metaphor for what the governments are doing all around the world. They move, they encroach, they move. This is why I cannot look at certain progressive positions anymore in the same light. Someone will say, you know, Dave, Medicare for all would be great. And I go, really? Who's administering it? What are they going to require of you, right? And who's paying for it? Seriously, I'm all for a better healthcare system, but you need to move away from any idea, any concept that allows for the state to take more control of your life, because that's what they're going to do. There is no such thing. Let me be clear here, and I'm going to get blowback for this. There is no such thing as libertarian socialism. There is no such thing. Those concepts. You may be a libertarian, leave me alone, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. Because who's going to administer your socialism? Are you guys doing it yourself? Because if you are, that's not really socialism. That's just a contract between free-thinking people, free agents, basically. And you can get into the contract, you can get out of the contract. If you see, and that's the other thing, if they mandate something, they mandate healthcare, it's no different from mandating that you take this thing and put it into your body. There's no difference. There really isn't. And who's to say that they don't have all these rules? Well, we'd like to do that heart surgery thing, and we've got a donor here, right? We've got a donor organ, but we're not going to do it because you decided that you didn't want to do the thing. And if you do the thing, then we'll give you the heart. I don't want this, people. Look, there's got to be a way that we can solve our problems, but we're not even talking about those issues anymore because we're too busy. It's like we're trying to just defend the front porch, right? There are people who are there waiting to do things to you, government officials like Trudeau and others, and you're thinking, well, I'd really like to have fun. I'd really like to hang out with my family and not think about this stuff. But the government's gone crazy. This isn't about, doing the right thing anymore. This is about control. And anybody who's not seeing that, and it is a battle between good and evil, like pure good and pure evil. And this is a spiritual war to some degree, although people who don't believe in that realm tend to just think these are just bad people gone wrong. And yeah, there is some of that, but there's, I think, a bigger issue at play here, that if people don't have a concept of evil rooted in some type of faith-based or at least intellectual curiosity on the topic, then they're not seeing the seriousness of it. And to me, we need to take this very seriously because there's no other explanation. Notice how real faith and real religion have declined over the last, I don't know, half century at least, where it's all window dressing. You know, you go to church and you're like, hey, I did a good thing. I went to church. You did nothing by going to church. The church isn't what makes you good. It's a relationship with God that makes you good, or at least a right relationship with God, right? I could go down that road and it would be a separate video. But we're battling against some real evil forces, and a lot of people won't recognize that, so they don't take it as seriously. They don't think it's like, okay, it's more than just Justin Trudeau. It's more than just pick a global leader, right? Pick somebody who's in a position where they grandstand in front of the cameras and make these crazy statements. And people sit there and they go, okay, so what can we do about this? Well, the truckers, their plan was and still is to shut the city down, whether it's Ottawa, whether it's Calgary, to really bring these people to their knees and say, okay, we need you guys and we respect you guys. And we're listening now, whereas we weren't listening before. And every one of these truckers and other people around the world, they have a right to air their grievances. They have an absolute right. Now, of course, it depends on your constitution and your form of government, but you should be able to air your grievances. And Canadians have every right to do that. And this guy, he's a tyrant. He is a full-blown tyrant. And unless there's some kind of revolution, I'm hoping it's going to be a peaceful revolution, because I am a peacemonger. I am not a warmonger. I am not a neoconservative or a neoliberal. I despise war, and I would prefer that we not engage in a kinetic war. We're in an information war, and now we're in a war of banking, apparently. I mean, going after crypto? Seriously, Justin Trudeau, you're going after crypto? And you know what? There are going to be people that say, screw you. I've got physical money and I'm going to bring it to the trucks. Stop me now. I'll convert all of my whatever I've got into physical dollars and hand it off to the trucks. This is why these global tyrants want to do away with physical money and make everything digital. And when they do that, they can turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, like they're trying to do in this situation. And they're using every, it's like they're sanctioning the truckers. They're throwing sanctions on the truckers. And this is why this has become a domestic war on terror, supposed terror. It's not terror, though. These people aren't going to shoot you. All they want is the ability to make the choices, the medical choices that they believe are important to them. And they've said all along, if you want to go and take this stuff, go for it. If you think you need to wear an oxygen inhibiting device on your face day after day, and that makes you feel better, even though your levels of O2 drop drastically and you might be getting dizzy and it stunts your ability to learn and to think clearly, probably giving you some form of brain fog, if that's what you really want to do, go for it. Nobody's stopping you. But see, they don't care or see the ridiculousness in it. The people who believe in it, they don't see anything wrong with it. Well, it's the patriotic thing to do, to limit my ability to breathe. That's the patriotic thing to do. And the people on the other side are going, okay, that's what you want to do. But that's not enough. That's not enough. They want you to join in to their lunacy and their insanity, and they want your health to go down the drain like their health is going to go down the drain. That's what they want. They think, hey, I did this, the ship is going down, you're coming along with me. If they're not thinking in the back of their minds, what did I do? This was a bad move. They're always going to be wondering, will my health be good this year or next year? And what would be the sudden cause of my health going in the opposite direction? And of course, It has nothing to do with my visit over to CVS or Walgreens last year. It has nothing to do with that. Totally safe and effective. Everything's great. Anyway, people, the Canadian truckers are heroes, and those who support them are equally heroes. And if we don't stand together, we're all going to hang separately. This is, an old saying, Ben Franklin, whoever said it. And time is starting to run out. And we have to show some sort of solidarity on this. This guy Trudeau is probably the worst of the worst, other than what's going on in Australia, which is, I can't even fathom what's going on down there. But in Canada, this has been a country that has been lulled into complacency, and to some degree, just, okay, I'll do what they say. And a lot of people thought at some point the government would just leave them alone. But governments don't do that. They don't leave you alone. This is why small, decentralized government with oversight by a local body of people who can argue with each other and come to a conclusion. And by the way, those people need to want to come to a conclusion and not be power hungry, because this isn't about power. This is about functionality. Can society function? Why do we need Justin Trudeau to tell us what to do? We don't. We are all smarter than Justin Trudeau. And we're all even more intelligent on a higher level than the president of the United States, who obviously is in steep, severe cognitive decline. All right, but the media won't tell you that. Oh, and by the way, as a quick note, isn't it funny how there's another media cover-up when we find out pretty much for sure that Hillary Clinton spied on Donald Trump, both as a candidate and even after he took the oath of office, which is treason, which is espionage, and you might as well call him Hillary Trudeau, or Hillary Clinton could be Justin Clinton. I mean, they are the same person. They have the same philosophy. They're authoritarians, and they're mean and nasty people. And they shouldn't be in power, but this is, the World Economic Forum in action on steroids. So anyway, as usual, pray for the truck drivers, support the truck drivers. If you're in Canada at this point, you're going to have to go deliver the money to them, deliver the money directly to them, and see what they do with that. All right. Don't do electronic transfer. This is why a lot of people were saying, you know what, maybe you go to the bank and you take out a lot of cash and you have that cash on hand, because this is what the government can now do to you. They can literally turn off your ability to do commerce. And we're talking the basic things like food and medicine and clothing and gasoline and all the things that you need to use each and every day. They want to basically smoke out these truck drivers or starve them. They don't want them to have the ability to buy food or to continue this protest. And I can't see how this works politically for guys like Trudeau. Either they don't care, or they're being supported by the most evil people on earth. So essentially they'll be taken care of for the rest of their lives, whether they succeed or fail this time around. And they're going to keep trying this crap until it fully succeeds. If Canada is a true democracy where the vote counts, this guy needs to be tossed out. He needs to be indicted and thrown in jail. But if they can't do that, the ballot box next time around, this guy, I don't know if he'll ever run again for anything, but if he has, the balls to do it again, I mean, he needs to go. He needs to be gone ASAP. But this is going to play itself out, and I have a feeling it's not going to go well. at times. And it's going to look like the people who are being maligned and being hurt the most by this are losing. It's going to look like they're losing. I don't know if they're truly going to lose, but there's a good chance they might, because this government and the governments around the world have so much power, and they're all backed up by each other, that I don't know if there's a way through this. There might be a way around it, but right now there's maybe no way through it. So there he is, Trudeau, the coward, hiding behind his oxygen inhibiting device. Very fashionable one at that. I don't know how a guy like that assumes power anywhere. It's more about image than ability. And apparently he was a big hit with the ladies, right? When he ran. I mean, it's just, I don't even know. I don't even know anymore.